Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Keegan from the Poke2 here, and today we're going to be going over a brand new Soulsborne style ARPG game that is literally coming out next week on the 8th of September, and that is Steel Rising. If you're looking to fill that void that Elden Ring has left behind, then look no further because Steel Rising has got you covered. Currently there is a closed beta for people that have pre-ordered the game, so you can still pre-order the game now and you will get access to the closed beta. So if you are really itching to play like a new game, I would highly recommend you guys pre-order the game so you can get access to the closed beta. I've been playing it for the last 2 days and I've been having an absolute friggin' blast. I seriously cannot wait for this game to come out. It has impressed me a lot. Now it is a little weird to call this a beta because it is 2 weeks before the actual launch of the game. So usually when you do a beta, you get people to test the game and the devs will be able to make like changes and updates based on that data. That's not to say that they're not collecting data or anything, but it's going to be very, very hard to make changes to the game within a 2-week time frame unless this is a much older version of the game that we have been given for the closed beta. Who knows? I don't know. There's not a lot of issues in the game, so to speak. I'll just like cover them now. There was a few visual glitches as I was playing the beta. I was trying to play on high graphical setting and the game just was losing a bit of frames here and there, so I turned that off and went for the high FPS focus mode, and that was fine. I had no visual issues whatsoever. The game runs super smooth, so I really hope they do fix that so you can kind of experience the game on such like a better graphical setting. But other than that, the game is very polished. That is the only bad thing I can actually say about the game. But let's actually dive into. Now the main character we play as is Aegis. Now Aegis is an automaton, but we're different from the other automatons. We have gained some kind of sentience, and we are the Queen's bodyguard, and we're like the only one the Queen can trust to put a stop to all the machines. Now the setting, I think the setting in these kind of soul style games makes a really big impact. I feel like that's what, you know, FromSoft does so well. They create such a cool setting. Steel Rising has the setting going for it. It's 1789, it's in the French Revolution, but it's an alternative timeline. The king has made robots and his cold, undying, dead army is literally massacring the whole of Paris. And you, Aegis, you're the Queen's bodyguard. She's putting you to the task to go out, stop the king, and bring an end to the machine uprising. Now the game starts off typically like most other Souls games. You're gonna have your character customization screen. You get like a little bit to choose from. There's not a lot. There could have been more, but I'm happy with the selection we do have. It's enough to kind of like define what you want Aegis to look like. Now there is also 4 classes to choose from, guys: the bodyguard, the soldier, the dancer, and the alchemist. Now these classes only decide your starting stats and your starting weapon. They in no way, shape, or form dictate how you are going to play the game. They're just merely a starting point and how you're going to start playing the game. And then the game starts off as your typical Soul style game. You know, you get a brief tutorial, very brief tutorial, and then you're on your merry way and you're out there slaying robots and, you know, doing good things. Now there are some features that do separate this game from other Souls-like games and just Soulsborne games in general, and one of those features is the stealth mechanic. There is a stealth mechanic in this game where if you lock onto an enemy and they haven't seen you, you can walk up behind them and you do like an execution move essentially, and sometimes it's enough to one-shot enemies. And boy, is it so much fun to do. I reckon it's a friggin' badass move, man. The other interesting feature I really like is the rapid cooling. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure in Neo 2 or Neo 1 there was some kind of rapid cooling effect. But we haven't really seen anything like that outside of that. I could be completely wrong, but inside of Steel Rising there is a rapid cooling mechanic. So when you run out of stamina, you will be able to rapid cool by pressing Y or triangle on the controller. I don't know what it would be on PC, and you would be able to rapid cool and you give yourself like a frost status effect. And just because I mentioned the frost status effect, I will talk about the other thing I really enjoy in this game, and that is the alchemical effects. Now the alchemical effects are essentially like status effect or damage over the time effect. So you're able to apply like fire, lightning, and frost and all that kind of stuff to the enemies. Now obviously if you apply frost, you're able to freeze the enemies in place, and then you can just lay down easy damage on them because they're not going to be able to move and attack at you. You can also set enemies on fire, and that is going to like do damage, actual damage over time to them, and they're just going to start ticking away because of the fire damage. These status effects do play a massive part in this game. I feel like some of them are maybe a little bit of cheese. They kind of put the game a little bit on easy mode, especially being able to freeze the enemies. You can just lay down easy smackdown on them because they're just frozen in place. And there's also been a lot of weapons with status effect like elements on them as well. And I love this because then people are going to be able to build status effect damage build. It just creates a whole nother level of like build diversity inside this game, which I think is very, very cool. But let's talk about the weapons since I just mentioned them. There are so many weapons in Steel Rising. Even just the first 2 levels I was able to play in the beta, I just had so many weapons. There's a lot to choose from. It nearly fits every single playstyle. Now this is mainly a dodging kind of Souls-like game. There's no parrying or anything like in Sekiro, but there are weapons that give you block options and parry, like counter-attack features with their special attack. So you have a pretty standard moveset. You just have like a light attack, a strong attack, and then you do have a special attack. And yeah, your special attack can essentially have like a block or a counter attack. So if you do like having those kind of like defensive parry like playstyles, you can do that in Steel Rising, but majority of the mechanic is just dodging. You are able to carry 2 weapons at all time, and you can switch between those 2 weapons like on the fly. You can like set up some really crazy combos, and I haven't been having a lot of fun with that. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, there's some really crazy weapons that go really well together. And you also get upgrade modules. Aegis is able to insert 4 Blake modules into like the back of a spine essentially, and they give you like passive defensive upgrades, which just further tune your playstyle, again creating more build diversity, something I really like in this game. Another thing that I am actually kind of concerned about, and I think I've seen a lot of other people talk about it in their reviews and stuff, and that is the grenades, man. The grenades are freaking OP. I'm hoping they might at least nerf the nades or just tweak them a little bit, or maybe not have so many drop. You can put any boss to easy mode if you just farm enough grenades. So I really hope they kind of like tweak that, like nerf it a little bit, or maybe just limit how many you can have. Like you can't just keep carrying so many. And then moving on to some other just like general features about the game. It's pretty standard Souls-like style leveling system. You collect anima, your souls basically. And you're going to sit at the standard chair bonfire. In this game it's called the Vestal, I think, and it's like a statue, and you activate it and it rises up into a chair. I think it's super cool. And here you're able to like upgrade your equipment, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your modules. To upgrade your weapons, you do need to find like a few items out in the world itself before you can do that. You can't just use anima to upgrade it. You need extra parts, which again, I really like. It promotes exploration. And another thing that promotes exploration is the level design. The level design is so good. I'm really enjoying the way they've done it. It does again feel very Souls-like, where you have multiple different ways you can basically attack your objective. It's not linear. You don't just have to go down one corridor to get to the area you need to get to. I feel like they have done a very good job with giving you some options, which is good because then when I want to watch other people's playthroughs, and now other people's playthroughs might be different to mine because they might take different routes. They might like choose to fight enemies in different areas that I haven't like thought about. It just creates a different style of gameplay for everybody, and again, I really like that. Moving on to the last thing I wanted to talk about before I give like my final thoughts. I'm probably already dragging this video out way too longer than it needs to be with my rambling, and that is the audio, guys. I think they've done such a fantastic job with the audio and the soundtrack in this game, the way the automatons move, the way Aegis moves. I didn't want Aegis just to be running around like a human. She's not a human, she's meant to be a robot, and she does feel like a robot. Even when she's attacked, you actually have a balance like stat as well, that when you do your special attacks and stuff, you can probably get knocked over or knocked back and all that kind of stuff. And obviously the soundtrack is impressive. You know when you get into a boss fight, you want that friggin' heart pounding soundtrack, gets the blood pumping. And that's one of the things I think a lot of people like about FromSoft and their boss fights, is just the way they create the setting. And I think Steel Rising does a fantastic job at doing that. I friggin' love the boss fights that I was able to do. I can't wait to see more. And just overall, I think Steel Rising is a fantastic game. I mean, I love the level design, the lore, the aesthetics. I love the steampunk vibe it's got going with it. The combat feels good. I mean, it's overall a fantastic, well-polished game. Hats off to Spider Studios. You guys have actually blown me away with this. I was super impressed. I highly recommend you guys try this out when it drops on September the 8th, unless you want to pre-order it and get access to the closed beta, which does run up to the 7th of September. I forgot to mention that. You're able to play the beta all the way up until the game's released. I'm so hyped to freaking play this game when it comes out on September the 8th on stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are able to check it out as well. If not, come check out the stream. And that is basically it from me, guys. Until next time, stay safe. Peace out.